So I am going to come back to vaccine and this age group later, because there are some questions around who should get it in the Indonesia model and generally. But before that, in terms of my sequence that I have in mind, there has been this sudden rise in the number of cases, and it's more driven, at least to the date from the data that I've read, in metropolis and some tier 2 cities. Why is that so?
Simply because we're not under lockdown. If we had not had a lockdown last year at the same time, you'd have had the same trajectory. Because this reproductive number we keep talking about, in our data, and we published a big study in Science in November, which is the largest COVID epidemiology study in the world. And it was, it's widely cited because it is the largest and, obviously the first from a developing country. And we had data from Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu for this. The reproductive rate of the virus came down significantly after the imposition of the lockdown. Even though it was an imperfect lockdown, it still made a tremendous difference. Sure. What we are seeing today is a glimpse of the situation that we would have had last year if we had not had the lockdown. In fact, it would have been worse last year because we didn't even have this level of population immunity. At least today we have some level of population immunity and we have some level of vaccination. So you can imagine how bad things would have been a year back in that situation if there had been no lockdown. That is, you can explain everything about the difference between last year and this year with just two things, which is no lockdown and higher levels of testing, which allow us to pick up more of the cases. That is really the only difference that we need to explain what is happening today. Now, we don't need the variants or increased transmissibility or any of that stuff to explain the data in a sense. Sure, it might be causing more damage or it might be adding some more complexity, but we don't need the variants as an example to explain what is going on today. Today is just, we entered a different equilibrium, and that equilibrium means that this is the rate at which the disease goes up.
So we are, you're saying, testing more in cities like Mumbai and Delhi.
Compared to a year ago, right? I mean, remember, a year ago, our testing was probably 1/100th of what we're testing right now. So we didn't pick up very much, and we also had a severe lockdown. I mean, we really couldn't go out at all. So now we're back to normal for all intents and purposes. And in a normal situation, this is how this virus behaves.
Understood.